pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to tonight's town board meeting. It is Tuesday, June 26, 2018. We may jump around this evening. As you know, we have some work we're going to do with the police department tonight. So the first thing on our agenda, though, is the assisted living facility that's proposed. We've been talking about it for a while. I would ask the town clerk to read the public notice on it.
Please take notice that the town board of the town of Mount Pleasant, New York, shall conduct a public hearing at the town hall on the 26th day of June, 2018 at 8 p.m. to discuss an application submitted by Shelburne Healthcare Development Corporation, LLC, requesting a special permit to construct an assisted living facility at 1 Zeiss Drive, Thornwood, New York, pursuant to Town Law, Chapter 218, Article 3. At said hearing, all persons will be heard.
Anybody wishing to speak on this topic is welcome to do so at this time.
Ken Noonan, Valhalla. I got the notice here that was on the website, but there doesn't seem to be any other information about this on the website. No background information about it. Is that available? And
We had them here publicly describing the facility. We also had them at a work session describing it to the town board members,
yeah,
what the proposal was.
But suppose you weren't here for that, or you weren't at the board session. How would you know what all the details of this is?
Is anybody here from Shelburne?
So I kind of think it's hard.
Do you have any questions you'd like answered? We could try to help you answer.
Well, if I knew what it was all about, I might have some questions.
You were at the work session. Did you listen to the presentation at the work session?
I listened to the presentation, but at the work session, you didn't give out any printed information or anything, so it's very hard to get an idea of what you're talking about at the work session. Sometimes it's even difficult to hear you at the work session.
Well, Shelburne made a presentation to the town board.
Yeah, I mean, but they handed out some details. I didn't get any of the details that they handed out. So, I think to have a public hearing like this and to not have the information available to the public is not so good. So I would respectfully request that you postpone this.
So part of the reason of posting the public hearings is that people could have an opportunity to ask questions and to come here and ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. That's what it's for. That's why we have a public hearing.
But if you don't know what the whole project is about, how can you ask questions?
So you can ask questions. What do you want to know?
I'd like to see what you have a diagram of the project and the size of the project, the breadth of the project on the property, where it's located on the property.
Sure.
You have that?
Absolutely. But you were in that presentation. I mean, you in particular were in that presentation, the same presentation that we sat from.
I was. But we're not talking about doing this just for me.
Okay.
You're having a public hearing. Mm-hmm. So the public.
You're the one asking the question.
Yeah, I know, but the public should have access to that same information that was at the presentation.
Yeah, so we have no problem showing anybody that wants to see it.
So I respectfully request that you postpone this public hearing and publish that information some way so that the public could have it in their hands.
If people want to come and ask us questions, we're happy to answer them. Is that what you're asking us to do?
No.
Postpone this so people could ask questions?
No, I'm asking you to please publish the background information for this public hearing the same information you received at the work session. And
Also worth noting that the documentation as the public project has been submitted is, I believe, available to the building department. Mr. Noonan could have availed himself and gone to review the plan at that time that had been previously submitted to this one as well.
well, please tell me how I would know that.
You received the notice for the hearing.
No, I know I have received the notice for the hearing, but how would I know that the information is available in the building department? How would I know that?
It's a building application. I think it's a pretty common thing that you would understand. Seeing as you're regularly here,
I would understand that.
you come here regularly all the time.
Yeah.
Is there specific questions that you might have missed at the work session that you'd like to ask?
I would like to see the materials that you got at the work session and look at them and study them.
This is
And then,
materials other than what you listened to? and
other than
saw?
what I listened to, and as I said, at the work session, it's difficult sometimes to hear and it's, I didn't have anything to look at they were doing.
I thought that
the
you
presentation.
record the meetings.
I do record them.
Do you listen to them afterwards?
Yeah, and it's difficult to hear. It's so.
Did you notice the presentation they made with the pictures and dimensions and everything else? Did you notice that?
Yeah, it was up on the screen, but I don't have a photographic memory. I would like to have that on a piece of paper, just like you had it on a piece of paper, so that I could study it and then I could come here and if I had any
I guess
questions,
we're
I
really
would.
happy to answer the questions if you have the questions. So to me, it's a little bizarre that 3 weeks have gone by and you're asking the questions tonight.
Well, I thought that the information would be available.
I mean, we're weighing now either holding up this applicant's proposal so that we can answer your questions. That's the question you're asking us. You're asking us to postpone the hearing so that we can answer your questions, not anyone else's, because we haven't received anyone else's questions
Well,
yet.
anyone
So you're
else?
asking us- hold on one second. I just want you to be clear on what
Okay.
you're asking us.
Okay.
You're asking us to now postpone, which we've already postponed once, by the way.
Mhm.
You're asking us to postpone this hearing yet again because you have questions for us, yet you had 3 weeks to ask us questions, and you came at the 11th hour tonight to tell us you have questions, but you won't tell us what they are.
No, I'm not saying that I have questions. I said I would like to look at the materials from the presentation, to study them, and then determine whether I have questions or not.
And
That's-
3 weeks
that's all.
have gone by, and you could have asked us, in fairness to the developer, in fairness to this person's proposal.
Mhm.
But now we have to hold it up again because you want us to show you the documentation, which again, I'm happy to show to you. I have no issue with that. I'm just, the timing of this, I think you should be a little bit more fair. As someone who comes to every work session and hears everything firsthand, instead of holding up a developer now for an additional several weeks, given that it's summertime, it's probably going to be even more. Okay? It's really not fair.
It's not my intention to hold up anything but for the
So
development.
then you should
I
have
think-
asked 3 weeks.
Well, I think it's a reasonable assumption to assume that when you're having a public hearing, you would get this information out to the
No, the
public.
public hearing is simply so we provide notice for the hearing so that if people do have questions, they can come forward and ask them within the time frame prior to the meeting.
But if Mr. Noonan wanted to go to the building department, let's say tomorrow, and look at
Absolutely.
the documentation, he would be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then
Okay.
probably submit written comments. Would that be acceptable?
Well, that's my next question. This particular notice doesn't say anything about written comments.
It's understood. You can submit.
Well,
Tonight is the hearing. If we have people that have questions and we need to postpone and table the hearing, we do that. If there are no comments or questions, we vote on it. That's how it works.
well, the notice for the hearing that's coming up later on, they say here, the town board will hear and accept written and oral comments from the public. But this notice doesn't say that. No,
But
why?
I believe we had a conversation with the IDA public hearing that it's always implied that the public is able to submit comments, email, letter, however you'd like to submit them. It's not specifically stated in the notice, but it's inherent in a public hearing that you could submit comments orally or in writing.
And that's for every public hearing,
Yes.
I would believe so.
Absolutely.
every public hearing.
Yes.
And do you think that you could put that into the notice in the future and tell people where they can submit their comments?
We'll make sure that it's detailed in the notice moving forward.
So again, I can go to the building department, I can get this information from the building department tomorrow, but are you going to postpone the public hearing?
We haven't decided that yet.
Because if you don't postpone the public hearing, then what's the point? You'll make a decision tonight, and
Well, the comments will always be made part of the record. And if there are things that are reasonable that the developer may need to answer, then he would have to answer those questions.
Mhm.
And this also has to go through the planning process yet as well.
Just the first step.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on this facility? Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm John Edwards. I live on Linda Avenue. I wanted to ask if the board has done a stress test on this proposal, in the sense that what kind of stress is it going to create by having this new business where it's located, sort of between shopping mall and EF Academy and Columbus. And my major concern here is with what kind of stress it's going to put on the town facilities, the pool, and perhaps the schools in that area. Have you looked at that from this
Well,
point of view?
Like we said before, this is the first step. Has to go through the planning board process.
Yes.
All these issues have to be answered.
So you're really only looking at, are you going to change the zoning ordinance to allow the planning board to look
Right.
at that?
Right.
And so do you think that this is a good idea at this point?
I think the general consensus, I think, of the town board is that it's something that we should really consider.
Okay.
You know, the need is there, but certainly I raise questions about the traffic issues that could be posed by it. And that'll come out in the planning process in their
Yeah.
traffic study. They'll have a formula of how many cars per hour and such like that. That's a serious concern for me.
And if I could ask one detail about the plan, do they know how many units and over how many individuals might be at the facility?
Yeah, they have numbers that they put into the plan.
And do you have any idea how much tax revenue that since this is a new business,
Well, that's something the assessor would come up with those numbers.
so you don't have that yet?
We don't have those details yet. We did have questions like Mr. DiPaolo was saying, ambulance, what kind of stress on the ambulance corps? Those are things that we want answered also. Police, all these things.
But is that that's a planning board issue as opposed to a simply changing the permit issue? Okay, thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board on this issue? Being there no further speakers, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close based on the fact that we are currently looking at a zoning change issue. The questions that have come up pertain more to the specs and bits about the planning piece, which I fully respect and I also want answers to. But as far as this being a zoning change, I would move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 37018 will move this forward.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Now, like I said before, I want to jump over because we have our police officers here. We want to recognize some changes that we're making in the police department. Before we go to that, the first thing that I would like to do, regrettably, we have to accept the retirement of Lieutenant Robert Miliambro. Bobby's been with us for a very long time. Excellent police officer, excellent lieutenant, and he will be missed by the town and by this department. So regrettably, we'll accept Robert's resignation, actually retirement, as of July 3rd, 2018.
Need a motion.
Your motion in a second.
I would move to accept Lieutenant Miliambro's resignation, retirement. I thank him for his many, many years of dedicated service to this town. He's a role model, and wish him very well in his future endeavors.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'm going to move on to Councilman Amiano, and he will move forward with the changes in our police department.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. First order of business tonight is a request for conditional offer of employment to Francis Brescia from Hawthorne and Samantha Petfield of Hawthorne with an effective start date of July 25, 2018. So as the civil service list was canvassed for these positions, there were 9 interviews, and these 2 folks stood out on the recommendation of the chief. So I will call the chief up if you'd like, sir.
Honorable Town Board, ladies and gentlemen, we go through a candidate process that includes a valid personnel list of residents, and we're very lucky in the town of Mount Pleasant to have a very robust resident list. So we canvassed that for a police officer, and this last round we came up with 2 very qualified candidates. So part of the process is to ask for a conditional offer of employment pending the final completion of background and the screening exams that are given by Westchester County. So I would respectfully ask for that conditional offer of employment for those 2 folks.
Thank you. I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Do you want to bring those officers up now?
They are not here.
They're not here.
I did not
Smart
bring
move
them
on their
up.
part.
So the way the process will work is that they'll get conditional letters of employment when that stuff comes back with final approval from personnel. At the July 10th meeting, I'll make another memo or request, and that would be for permanent probationary employment, and they would have to attend the police academy. And so we would do it on that July 10th date with an effective start date of the 25th of July, because the police academy will start on July 30th. So it gives them a few days just to get acclimated, get some proper identification, and then off to the academy. So
Very good.
that'll be my next memo, but that'll be for a later meeting. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Second order of business is a request to promote Detective Second Grade Jacobson to Detective First Grade, effective immediately.
Correct. And you can't take your own picture, so I'm going to ask the future Lieutenant Greenberg to do that. Detective Jacobson was promoted in April of 2014 to the Detective Division. He's done an outstanding job since then, more than proven himself. And this bump up to Detective First Grade is well-deserved, and I would respectfully request that the board moves him up to Detective First Grade effective immediately.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations. Justin, you have to be sworn in. The town clerk will officially swear you in.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
Justin Jacobson,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the State of New York,
to uphold the Constitution of the State of New York,
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
and will perform the duties of Detective First Grade
and perform the duties of Detective First Grade
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Number 3 on the agenda tonight is a request for the establishment of the captain position, promoting Lieutenant Michael Pierce to that position effective June 27, 2018.
Okay, so before I have Lieutenant Pierce step up, I just wanted to acknowledge the board's unwavering support of the police department. And I can assure you that our members will continue to strive to give the best public safety service possible to the residents of Mount Pleasant. If I can start off, I know that you mentioned Lieutenant Miliambro. He has a stellar 31-year career. The last 15 as lieutenant. He's assured us he's only a phone call away. Over his tenure, he has been, he supervised some of the major crime scenes, and his guidance has translated into huge financial savings for the town. He's responsible for 3 New York State reaccreditations of our police department, and he's been of invaluable counsel to me and Lieutenant Pierce. I'd like to congratulate him on a great career. Now that that's out of the way, Lieutenant Pierce, please come up here. So Lieutenant Pierce started in 1996 after working as a police officer on White Plains for 2 years. Before that, he was a park ranger and recreation assistant. He has a bachelor's degree in business from Pace University. He served on the Valhalla Ambulance Corps for several years, raising to the rank of captain in 94, 95. So basically, this isn't his first captain's position, but it is with the police department. He's acted as a field training officer, motor officer, police instructor. He's an EMT. He was promoted to sergeant in October 2005, where he continues to excel. In April 2014, he was promoted to lieutenant, where his duties included scheduling, managing scenes, and natural disasters. And he's had his fair share of that while I was away at the FBI National Academy earlier this year. We've had a couple of natural disasters that have fallen on him to handle. He's also handled some outsourced man-made disasters that we've had, or he inherited. And related to that, I did see, in looking at his personnel file, he got a C+ in his Computer 1 class in Dobbs Ferry High School, but I'll give him an A on his computer class that he's got at Mount Pleasant Police life experience. He's been invaluable in helping us with our transition of a new system for the computers. He's intelligent, honest, professional, kind, fair, and polite. And it's my honor to recommend Lieutenant Mike Pierce as the department's first captain, effective June 27th, 2018. Please.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Amiano.
I'll second it and just like to say thank you, Chief, and to the department for establishing the position. We think it's a great idea. You're always thinking in the best interest of the town and the department, and we thank you. And I will also say, knowing Mike, both personally and professionally, I have his kids in school. I will do my very best to get your daughters to refer to you as captain, and I second that motion. No promises, though. They're tough.
Second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Mike, I do congratulate you. You've always been professional. You handled yourself excellent. Like Chief has said, when he was away, you stepped up and you did everything you had to do, and it was some tough situations we dealt with. So I appreciate that, and I know you'll be a stellar captain for our police department.
This is for you. Congratulations. I'm going to ask, well, you know what? Why don't you sign the book, and then I'm going to ask your daughter to pin you if she wants to come up, or if any family members would like to come up.
I state your name.
Michael Pierce,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and will perform the duties
perform the duties
Captain of the Town of Mount Pleasant Police Department
of Captain of the Town of Mount Pleasant Police Department
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
This is televised, so we need to be careful.
Okay, fourth order of business here is a request to fill the newly vacated seats in the lieutenant's position by promoting Sergeant Martin Greenberg and Sergeant Sean Ford to fill those positions. So 2 vacancies created by Captain Michael Pierce and the retirement of Lieutenant Millie Ambrose.
So this, as you mentioned, the captain's promotion is going to create 2 vacancies in the position of lieutenant, and after consideration, there's 2 well-qualified candidates. Sergeant Greenberg attended SUNY Albany, received a bachelor's degree, and went on to Mercy College, where he received his master's. He was hired in July of 1990, and the experience that he had as a 5th grade teacher in the Valhalla school system made him a natural for the DARE officer's position, which he achieved in 1996. His hard work and dedication was rewarded with a promotion to detective in 1999, and in November 2013, a sergeant's promotion due to his continued hard work. He's been proactive on school safety for years. He has participated in countless school and community events, including athletic games, health and job fairs, and chaperoning his share of school trips. He was instrumental in starting up our department's canine program, and he has taught EMT classes for several years at Westchester Community College as an adjunct professor. He's volunteered and also held rank at the Valhalla Ambulance Corps for many, many years. He was New York State Youth Officer of the Year in 2006, and in 1992, Westchester County EMS Volunteer of the Year. It's my honor to recommend Sergeant Martin Greenberg for lieutenant, effective July 3rd, 2018. I'll continue with Sergeant Ford. Sergeant Ford received part of his education at Mercy College, where he received a master's in organizational leadership. He was hired in January 2000, where he proved himself as a competent police officer with leadership abilities. He was promoted to sergeant in November 2013 and has continued his education. In 2017, he graduated with a master's in criminal justice from Boston University. He had said at one point, I hope to use my education for the betterment of the town, and we're going to call him the task on that. He's been a field training officer, which is often a thankless job, a general topics police instructor, an integral part of the commercial motor vehicle unit. He has a background in the medical field and was a paramedic. And he is also currently an adjunct professor at Westchester Community College, where he teaches criminal justice. He has the respect of his fellow officers and peers, and it's my honor to recommend Sergeant Sean Ford for the position of lieutenant, effective July 3rd, 2018.
I will make that motion for both gentlemen.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
I would second it and say, first off, for both gentlemen, your leadership in the department is evident, and we thank you for that. Marty, the schools will miss you, so please visit. Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I also will echo my congratulations and thanks to you both. You both have been a tremendous asset to this police department, and I know moving forward you will only make it better. And I appreciate what you've done in the past and look forward to your future. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, Rusty. Well, you know what, are we both in it first, or why don't you guys take
Together,
first?
or-
Sure.
Raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I uphold the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the United
the
States.
Constitution of the State of New York,
Constitution of the State of New York.
and will perform the duties
Perform the duties
of lieutenant in the Mount Pleasant Police Department
of Lieutenant in the Mount Pleasant Police Department
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you again, and there's liable to be a mass exodus if you don't mind if we're done, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Congratulations.
It's easy to just do people if you don't really take the minutes and make a motion.
Moving on to our agenda, we're going to go back to the public hearings. On our agenda, you'll see Homeland Towers, the cell tower at Mechanical Leaf site. That's going to be tabled. We're still waiting for the DEC to sign off on that approval. We were hoping that by August, we will have some kind of an answer.
We have to have a motion to table.
Okay, we'll wait one moment. We'll just get the door shut and we'll.
I understand it's being tabled.
Come on.
I understand it's being tabled as Lee Parker, in the village over at Canton. So I understand it's being tabled while you wait for DEC action, but I just want to reiterate that that part of the town has no cell coverage currently. And in emergency situations, when the power is out, there is no phone service.
Yeah, that's why we're pushing this for that area. We had a little challenge there because of the location of the cell tower and the fact that it's a leaf compost facility. The DEC gave us some challenges there, so we moved it to another corner, which makes it a little bit more acceptable. They still have to sign off on it, and we anticipate that'll be within the next 30 days. So
So then this would be rescheduled.
Our first public meeting in August, we will probably have a public hearing. You'll be re-notified of the public hearing. And I would imagine it will be our first meeting in August, the public, we have a date?
It's
And will there be specs on the tower at that point?
August 14th. August 14th.
August 14th? Will there be specs on the tower available? Coverage areas, who's going to use it?
There'll be a presentation by Homeland Towers, exactly what it looks like, where exactly it's going to be, the height, everything, and the coverage. We realize that's a dead area there, and even going down 448, there's another issue further down.
Yes.
So we'll find out better how far the coverage will go at that point.
Okay. Okay.
So this has already been approved?
No. Matter of fact, if you're here, even though we're tabling it, if you're here and you want to share any questions or concerns, please do, because it helps inform us on a decision. We love to hear from the public about these things. Just do me a favor and state your name and where you're from.
Michael Riley from Old Sleepy Hollow Road. Number one, it's on Mechanical River Road, Bacon Hill Road area, that the compost pile down there in the back there. Okay. Are the residents in that area also being informed that this is being done?
Yeah, they have all been informed, yeah.
All right.
We went through this process once before with the original location.
Okay.
Now we're redoing it again
Okay.
for the new location, which is, I don't know, maybe 100 feet away or something like that.
Okay. I mean, this is the first time. I just picked it up in an email last Wednesday. This is the first time that I picked up that there was a cell phone tower. And as the gentleman was saying there also, is there going to be, the height and diameter and what's the aesthetics of this thing? Because when all the leaves are off the trees and everything else, what's this thing going to look like? There's a giant hairbrush over there on the Hutchinson River Parkway.
This doesn't
Okay.
look like that. You'd probably be pretty impressed when you see what it looks like. It's a pine tree, basically, it looks like. So,
And my understanding is the placement of it is where there are other pine trees. So even when, certain trees lose their leaves, those will all kind of look the same,
Okay.
even in the wintertime.
Okay.
That's the intention of it.
Okay. And are they going to talk about any concerns about, like, people raise concerns about health concerns and
Yeah,
property values? Are they going to
They will
address
talk
those?
about all that, yeah.
They're going to address all those questions as well?
Yep.
Okay.
And you're welcome to ask those questions also while they're here.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Well,
You're
thank you.
Marlene Von Hagen, Hill Road. What is this going to do to our property values? Because I believe what I've been reading.
So her question was, how would it impact property values?
Right.
So this has come up before in general,
Right.
not necessarily specific to this site, but in general, the feeling of a lot of homeowners that we've heard from a lot of people in the past that because of the lack of cell coverage, they actually have a hard time selling their homes. Because most people don't use well, I shouldn't say most people, but a lot of people don't use landline service anymore and are highly dependent upon cell phone service and use. Therefore, we've actually heard from people from the opposite.
Okay, so I have full cell phone service at my house, and we have a business there, so there's plenty of people who have all different kinds of carriers. We have no problem.
Mhm.
And from what I understand in a lot of articles that I've read from all over the country, that your land value can go down 20%, your property value. And I printed some stuff out. Do I take it to the next meeting or?
No, we want to hear what you have to say. So if you have literature you want to share with us,
$30,000 a year in taxes, and I don't want to look at a fake tree.
Mhm.
And that's my concern. And I don't think any of my neighbors want to look at a fake tree. I mean, if you don't have cell service, you know what? It is what it is. You bought your house. We didn't have cells years ago. I don't know why I get cell service. I get cell service to the dump. I've been up to the dump. Maybe switch your carrier. But I know for a fact that the land value is going to go down because it's been said. Everybody should be on the internet, looking it up, seeing what's going to happen to your property value.
We have a number of cell towers in the town of Mount Pleasant.
Right, so why do we need another one?
Well, that area has to be, that's a dead area.
So
But
part of this is also our emergency responders, police and ambulance and fire have also expressed the need
Right.
for it.
So
Because
why can't it be
their
put-
own communication devices are not
Why
working up.
can't it be put somewhere else where it's not near all these houses. I mean, you got a development right there. I have horses, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know if it has effect on health. I don't want people coming back to me in 10 years saying, you know what, cell phone towers give you cancer. And my kid rode at your farm for 20 years, and my kid has cancer now. I don't want it. You know what, they haven't done enough studies, and the cell phone towers have not been around long enough for them to guarantee you that there's nothing coming off of those cell phone towers and doing any harm to your health.
My understanding is what you're getting off your cell phone, the phone that you use, is worse than what you would get from a cell tower. But those are questions that you're welcome
Yeah.
to ask.
But it's great that you
professionals.
express that, because that's what we want,
Right.
we want to hear from people.
You know,
So-
I just don't want to wake up in the morning and look out my window and see a fake tree or a cell phone tower, because I have seen them. And when the trees are bare, they're ugly. You know, and I do think it's going to deface our property, how it's going to bring it down.
Thank
Could you
you.
give me your name?
Marlene Bonhagen.
And if you do have literature you want to share, feel free, whether it's
Okay.
tonight or some other
I'll
time.
drop it off.
We're happy to look at it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Therese Pagello de Chavez. Hello, Carl. Long time no see. I live at 26 Mechanical Lake Road, and I have no cell phone service. My father next door, who's 89, has no cell phone service. We maintained a copper line for years. Verizon discontinued it. We continued it every month for $20 just for that issue, that in case of emergency, we do not have service. There was a storm Sunday night. I came home to no power, no internet, no telephone, no anything. Luckily, my father was not home. If I could put the cell phone tower in my backyard, I would say do it. We pay for a network extender. We pay Verizon money so that I can be in my living room and have cell phone service, because otherwise I have nothing. I don't know where you can put it that would be the least obtrusive. I think there's enough foliage, enough area somewhere in the town, but I also agree that you need to have police able to be called. You need to have ambulance called. We've had to move my father out of his house in order to protect him, being there alone and not being able to call for help. So, Marlene, if I could put it in my backyard, I would. I feel for you. I know we're on the other side of the road and we get nothing. So hopefully there's a place where it doesn't interfere with your property value, with the aesthetics, but it allows those of us that have no service to be able to do that. We don't, if the power goes out, we are helpless. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on this topic?
Hi, Leo Chang, 18 Mechanical River Road. First, there's been some indication that there was notice previously. There was notice, a suggestion that there was prior notice about this issue, not necessarily this particular location, but prior location. I just want to say that we've been here 25 years, and we've never heard anything about this proposal. Secondly, I would like to see what the precise proposal is, where this tower would be located. Is there a drawing? Is there a map?
This will all be presented at the public hearing. It would have been tonight, but we're postponing it because we're waiting for additional information. But at the public hearing, which we believe will be in August, we're hoping for August 14th, all that will be presented to you. What's it going to look like? Where is it going?
And will there be discussion of what the coverage is?
Yes.
What the intended, what is intended to be addressed? Because presumably there are a lot of other locations that are possible and why this one is identified as opposed to others? What are the considerations?
You know, this has been discussed for probably 3 years, actually. This particular site and another site down closer on 448. Nobody wants it in their backyard. We try to focus on town property first. But, you know, if the school wanted to put a cell phone tower in their property, they could request it also. But we're trying to put it in areas that have no effect on the property itself. And using town property is the best way for us to do it. We're open to other suggestions in the area also, because I don't think it's going to solve the problem all the way down on 448.
My thought, because as I understand it, the mulching area is in a hollow. So if you want to get projection, don't you want to have elevation? Isn't that the whole idea with a tower? So why put a tower in a hollow? Why not put it on a higher location?
We left it to these are engineers that figure these things out, and this is what they come up with. You can go on top of a mountain with the tower, but it doesn't mean that you'll be able to transmit, you know, a long distance, because you lose it after a certain distance. So even though you're higher, you're also further away from the person using the cell tower. So this is an area that they investigated and found to be the best location for this particular tower. Is it going to solve all the issues in that entire area? I don't think so, but it's a start.
Will the materials or the presentation indicate what are the unserviced areas that they're trying to address, and what is optimal?
They have given us in the past, we've studied, it gives like a circle, an area that it shows where the coverage is and where the dead spots are. But all that stuff will be presented at that meeting. And we'll discuss it, you know, and we'll try to answer everyone's question at that point.
And is this kind of tower intended to be available to all carriers? That
yes,
Verizon, AT&T, everybody is going to be on this tower?
Anybody who wants to get on it can. Yeah, it has to be accessible to everyone. Also, our department will have an antenna there, fire, ambulance, we'll all have better communications through that.
And will this material be made available prior to the public hearing? I mean, can you not post it on the website so people?
I think once we have everything, once we have all the information prior to that meeting, we will get it out on the website.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else like to speak on this topic?
My name is Shelley Malkus, and I'm surprised at what I'm hearing tonight. I've been here going on 33 years, and I've heard things tonight that kind of surprised me. Debating this 3 years, I only found out through the courtesy of a neighbor that there was a vote tonight on this issue. I live at 36 Mechanical River Road.
There's not a vote on it tonight.
Okay. There isn't. No, but the issue was coming up. You said you discussed it 3 years.
Well, we've been talking to cell phone carriers for 3 years, trying to find a location that would help.
You know how the mulching area got to be here? When Mr. Meehan, not supervisor, he held a series of meetings with homeowners in the area. I'm very familiar with that because the home they used was mine. He had several meetings with people from Mechanical Lake Road. You know, Mr. Meehan gathered had a tremendous amount of input. Nothing personal, Mr. DiPaolo, but we live in an age where you said you've heard from lots of people who want cell phone service. How many? Who are they? We live in an age where you have to be skeptical of what politicians say on both sides.
Oh, understood.
On both sides. So when I hear lots of people want it, hey, that could be two. So, and then when you say there's going to be a vote on August 14th, or that we're going to reopen this, and there may be a vote, I suppose, how many people are on vacation August 14th rather than be here? It seems an odd time to have a vote. Now, I deal in data in my job. Now, what is exactly the impact on home value? Do you have any studies? I have no idea. You're ready to vote next month, month and a half. How high is it? Am I going to see it from my window? I've had power outages, 11 days. Thank God for New York Sports Club where I could shower. But you know what? We live in a very high tax area of this town. We get, I suppose, minimum services. We accepted that mulching area, and now you want to do it again. You know, I've always thought that getting screwed should be an enjoyable experience. That's not necessarily the case here. And frankly, I'm shocked at the lack of openness. You citing, people are calling me, you telling us.
Do you subscribe to the town email alerts or anything like that?
I read the Journal News, I read the New York Times.
No, I'm
it's
only
delivered to my
asking
door.
because in this day and age, a lot of the information we're sending out, and we're trying to get better at this every time. You know, I've been on the board. I've been on the town board for 3 years, and you know, I've seen continuous improvements in this. So if you sign up for the subscriptions, all the email subscriptions, the news and alerts, we do send this information out.
I'll be back tomorrow. Where do I sign up?
Absolutely. You can sign up right on the website. There's a place that you go to email subscriptions, and you can actually customize which emails you get. And I'm only saying that as a suggestion, just so that you can get the information that we're trying to put out there.
No, but again, overall, it's appalling, the lack of contact between you folks and us folks. Appalling and model that was in place. And it's not the model now. And again, I would urge you as the town supervisor, 14th is the worst possible date. You know, it should be postponed at least another month where people are back.
That may happen.
Okay, but you know, I'm very disappointed. And again, specifics, not from you, not from studies on how this impacts on us.
That's what the public hearing is for.
How are you going ahead with this?
That's what the public hearing is.
You keep saying, how are we going ahead with it? We're not. This is a public hearing. We're trying to listen to commentary.
Okay.
So
I'd like data on how home values are impacted when cell towers went up in other parts of the area. I don't think that's unfair.
No.
We have spent a lot of money and we contribute a lot of taxes to this town.
We all do. Yeah.
Okay. So that at the very least should be available to us before there's a vote. And honest people can disagree honestly about the need for it, and that's great. I mean, that's called democracy.
and that's what we're looking for by having the
Okay.
hearing. And
But still, democracy is, I think, my opinion, should be predicated on information. There's no information. I may know to this, but without any information, how could I possibly be?
right.
for
So
it?
I mean, Mr. Supervisor did open by saying we have to table it because there's no presentation tonight. So I mean, the presentation and your questions are all excellent questions, and I share them, and a lot of people share them. So I would urge you to come to the presentation, ask those questions, because the people that are developing this and the people that are making money off of this need to answer those questions.
But here, you know, which is a bad.
Duly noted. We don't normally like to have public hearings in the summertime, but unfortunately, when they get tabled like this, this is where we end up. But I agree with you.
Many places were famous for having meetings with no one sure to show up. I hope this town is not one of those places.
We're working on it.
We're able to record
request a mailing go out instead of relying on the email system? You know, to let the residents in those areas know?
We can look into that. Gets a little expensive.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, just for everybody to have an opportunity, you know, to.
Once we have the, all the details from the cell phone company, we will distribute that information via the website initially. And we'll look into the possibility of mailing it out. I'd hate to miss somebody. Like if I'm sending a mailing out, if I don't do everybody, then, you know, I'm accused of not, you know, giving everybody information, so.
Yeah, because we would have missed it if we weren't on the email list.
I never saw text.
Well, historically, public knowing the Journal of News, and that's something that's customarily always done for many, many years. We're trying to elaborate more on it by using the website, try to get more and more information out there.
I would say most municipalities still use only the newspaper.
So how far ahead do they post that?
We've been trying to do 2 weeks, because that's when we get the information. As soon as we get notice of the hearing, we try to post it almost a couple of days later. Yeah. It's a work in progress, no doubt, and transparency is an issue everywhere, here also, and we are working on that. I would love the idea of mailings. I mean, if I was sitting there tonight and I would certainly love a mailing, but I can tell from our perspective here, we have these types of hearings. We have 3 tonight. We have hundreds a year. To do mailings for all these types of hearings and to get it right in the day and age where we have email, I think the cost to benefit is where we have to step in on that. But I certainly, if there's an easy and cheap way to do the mailings, we can look into that.
Can I just, from my seat, you know, one of the impacts of the mulching area is that a number of us live over a little bridge. The amount of heavy truck traffic has had a negative effect on the bridge. And I have it on my agenda to come and speak to you, sir, about the next time the town is repaving in that area, come and repave that bridge, because we didn't have that problem.
Which bridge is this?
That leads to 6 homes, about midway down the Canago River Road.
I didn't realize the road was in that bad
All
shape.
close to Canago River Road. And if you look at, once you cross over, there's no problem with the road.
I'm gonna look into
We
it.
haven't complained very much, but now, you know, with the idea of more traffic, you know, again, we pay a lot of taxes and get minimum services.
I
And by the
will,
way, many times, those trucks is a curve. If you're not all the way to the right, which you should be, but many times those trucks come around that curve very fast. It's a wide spot.
I'll personally take a look at the road myself, and I will talk to the highway superintendent in regards to the speed of the trucks driving down that road. Because there's no reason to drive fast down that road. Anyone else wish to address us on this issue? Being there no further speakers, I will entertain a motion to table the Homeland Towers proposal.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Paulo, Mr. Ramio, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is the energy improvement. We have a gentleman here that may want to give us some information. This is something that we've been discussing for months.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'm Mark Thielking. I'm the Executive Director of the Energy Improvement Corporation. I presented back on November 14th about the Energize New York PACE program. In order to activate the program, we need to pass the local law tonight. We also need to sign the municipal agreement, which I think was also in your materials. I'm here to answer questions, any discussion. I'm here to help with the public and with you as well. So I'll end my statement there.
Do you want to describe what it really does?
Sure. Yeah, so the Energize New York PACE Finance Service is authorized under Article 5L of the General Municipal Law. And what it is municipalities may activate this public benefit of financing for energy efficiency and renewable energy improvements in the community. It's only available to commercially owned or not-for-profit owned buildings. But the idea is that the state now has authorized the town through this local law to offer this financing, which is repaid through a line on the property tax bill of that property. It's low-cost financing. It's very long-term. And the idea is that it effectuates building improvements in the community that reduce energy costs, improve the building stock for higher values, as well as reduces air pollution.
So this is anything related to energy savings?
Correct. Or renewable energy. So projects around the state that we finance include solar projects on assisted living facilities, for example, or energy efficiency improvements to wall systems to make them more efficient, more comfortable. We've also financed new boilers. These are the types of projects that we're able to finance. And again, because of the long-term nature of the financing, these are much deeper than typically what property owners use. And thus, it's an opportunity to improve the building stock in a very significant way. So ultimately, the idea here is that the public benefits to the community are, again, lower energy costs around the community, lower air pollution, as well as improved building stock.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Did you wanted to read the public notice?
Please take notice that the town board of the town of Mount Pleasant, New York, shall conduct a public hearing at the town hall on the 26th day of June, 2018, at 8 p.m. to discuss the proposed local law number 4 of 2018, which will amend Town Code Chapter 167 to establish a sustainable energy loan program in the town of Mount Pleasant. The law would establish a sustainable energy loan program in the town. At said hearing, all persons shall be heard. Patricia Dunes-Scover, Town Clerk, Town of Mount Pleasant.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Again, Lee Parker from Pecantico. I have been doing energy efficiency work for 30 years, residential, multifamily, commercial, and industrial buildings in the U.S. and actually a lot of work internationally as well. PACE funding is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. There is absolutely no reason why the town should not do this. It is just great for the building owners, as long as the residents of the town. It's just another quiver in a way of getting energy efficiency and healthy environment into the community. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions on this topic?
So I just want to end in that in order to effectuate the financing, we also need to have the municipal agreement approved and authorize that you can sign that so that we can start activating the financing. So okay. I have copies if you need it, or you have copies too.
Yeah.
Ken Noonan, Valhalla. I'm sorry, the notice that you just read is different from the notice that I have here. My notice says all persons may be sworn to an oath of truth if required by the town board. And it says the proposed modification is available for review in the town clerk's office.
That's the first time it's ever been in a public notice.
But that's not what you just read.
No, I just read the regular public notice. I didn't read that paragraph. You read
What is that all about?
You read it in the paper.
Yeah, but what is that all persons may be sworn to an oath of truth?
I don't know. It's like Old English. And it came from our town attorney.
It came from the town.
I chose not to read it.
I mean, that would scare the bejeepers out of somebody.
I'm wondering if it refers to just being on a matter of record?
The town board has the ability to swear people in, provided what the statements they're making, because they are using a public forum.
And is that in case of any public hearing? Is that right? That's interesting. Well,
keep that in mind.
I just have, this part here, the proposed modification is available for review with the town clerk's office. In this day and age, if a taxpayer is interested and wants this information, why does he have to leave, or he or she have to leave his work, his business, his school, his home, to come up here and to look at this piece of paper?
What did people do in the past when all there was a simple notice in the newspaper?
We're not living in the past.
Well, no,
we're living in the present.
All of a sudden now it's an issue.
It certainly is. And to compound the issue, I came up here yesterday afternoon to look at this, and it wasn't even available. It was in your office, locked up, and nobody could get at it. Now, that tell me why, in this day and age, when you can scan this thing and put it on the website, why doesn't it get done?
Well, if you called ahead, I could have gotten it, Mr. Noonan.
If I called ahead, if I knew all this stuff, I would call ahead. How would I know it? It says here for the proposed modification is available for review at town.
Calm down. Okay?
What?
Relax.
I'm relaxed. I'm as relaxed.
You're the
as
only person that's asked for the information, but going forward, we will make sure that we get more information on the website. Like Mr. DiPaolo said, we are trying to get more and more information out on the website. I haven't had a secretary in almost a month, so it's been a little more difficult to get information out. So we will work on getting information out there. But all my years in town government, if somebody needed information, we never stopped them from getting it. They can come in here and get whatever they need.
Except yesterday.
Actually, I did
Well, I'm
mail
sorry
it
it didn't work out for you.
Yeah.
The supervisor isn't aware, but I did mail it out to someone that called last Friday, and I mailed it out to them.
But again,
Mr. Richards.
why should somebody have to leave their
I already
business? Leave their
explained, I already
work? Why?
explained this,
Yeah.
all right? I don't know what more you want. I already said, we will try to get more and more information out on the website to satisfy your needs. And like I've always said, anybody can come to town hall and get information. I'm sorry that I had to leave a little bit early yesterday and I was not here to grant your request.
But why do we have to come to town hall? Is the whole
So
thing.
I think the point is that it is a work in progress, and you know that, right?
Mhm.
And ever since you've been coming to meetings, we've gone from nothing being posted to a lot being posted, and there's still a lot more to be posted. This is a changing world for municipalities, believe it or not. Municipalities are way behind on this, and most are way more behind than we are on this. So it is a work in progress. We have worked on getting all the public hearing information up. You know, the next thing is now all of these little bits of background information, posting that as well too. So it is a work in progress. You're not wrong to ask the question. I asked the question too. I asked the question not just of the town, but many places that I encounter. But it is what it is. It's the world of technology. Things change almost overnight now, and we have to keep up with it. And it requires man and woman power to do that. And of course that has financial, implications as well too. So you can't just take someone whose job description is XYZ and now tell them they also have to post information on the website and without paying them. So, we are in the midst of, trying to figure out how we can do it. And do we need to hire someone just to be able to post information? Maybe, that's what we're considering at the moment. But, we're trying to figure out how to do it the best way possible and the most efficient way possible for all of you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on this topic? Be there no further speakers, I will entertain a motion to close the Energy Improvement Corporation hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approving the Energy Improvement Corporation local law.
Make a motion to approve. I think it's a great idea, and as one of the residents said, it's of great benefit to our residents and businesses.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
There should also be a quick motion to enter into the agreement to further the
Municipal agreement.
To execute the contract with them?
The agreement that.
So 372A will authorize entering into the agreement with Energize. This is with the Energy Improvement Corporation.
Move to enter into agreement with Energy Improvement Corp. Sorry.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. If you could properly write that. resolution up. Thank you. Moving on to the supervisory report. First item is the water operations contract extension with the Block Environmental Services. This is a company that the town has been working with for quite a few years, my understanding. This particular contract will expire June 30th, 2018. The services were approved under the enclosed Town Board Resolution 34917. Also enclosed here for our consideration is to extend the current contract until June 30th, 2019. Slight increase of 1% for the cost to perform services. In the remaining 6 months, the monthly service rate of $20,300 will continue until December 31st, 2018. And then the monthly rate would increase to $20,500 from January 1st, 2019 until June 30th, 2019. David, did you have anything further to add on this? I know we've worked with them for many years. Do board members have any questions on this agreement?
No.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Amiano to continue this contract.
Second.
Second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to go out to bid for water main replacement for the Old Farm Water District. This is something that we've been talking about for quite a while also. This has to do with the Old Farm area, Old Farm Road, Suzanne Lane, I think that area, and Usonia area. This is the first phase? Okay, 1A and 1B, the phases, okay. So this resolution will authorize us to go out to bid. Is there a
That's July
date?
18th for the opening?
Yes.
Good evening, honorary board. Yeah, this resolution is for, there's actually two projects. We tried to expedite this project. It is phase 1A, which is about 1,300 feet of 8-inch water main. That's what we're expediting as far as a July 18th bid opening. And the purpose of that is because these two phases are the locations where we had some considerable repair events. We like to call them repair events and not jinx ourselves, in order to expedite that work to cut down our repair costs there. So the first phase 1A, we've already received health department approval for, and it's ready to go out. The second phase 1B is the Usonia area. It's a little bit more amount of costs, of course, and also the amount of work that has to get done. But we were requesting authorization now because of the summer month meetings were only down to one. We've received comments, but we're close to receiving the health department approval for that project. And both of these projects will be bonded, and it's our understanding the bonding will come in around the first week of August. So everything kind of lines itself up. We want to take advantage of the construction season, at least to start getting 1A completed this fall, and then start the Usonia project this fall, and then we'll have a winter shutdown. But these two projects are to remove asbestos water mains in that district. So there is a need for that work to happen.
Thank you. Motion to go out to bid for the water main replacement project for Old Farm Water District.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo. Second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, which our town engineer is very familiar with, purchase order 18448, Green Mountain Pipeline Services. This is for emergency repairs on a sewer line on Columbus Avenue. Total cost of the purchase order is $17,500. I don't know if you wanted to give us any background on this emergency. I believe.
Sorry.
The repair has been done.
The repair was completed on Monday. It involved 400 linear feet of 8-inch asbestos sewer main, there was a break in the pipe along the next to the brook, and there was water was infiltrating from the brook. So that's why we requested the repair. The lining company was in Port Chester, so they were able to break away from that within a short period of time. So we also did a repair on Kensington Avenue off of Westchester Avenue, which was another situation where we had asbestos sewer pipe that was separated. So we're breathing a lot easier now that these repairs are completed. But the normal process is we submit it to the supervisor. The supervisor will authorize so we can proceed because it is an emergency situation. This just happened to work right before this meeting, but we were just trying to get the authorization as soon as we could.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DePaul. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase order 18449, Felling Trailers for Water and Sewer Department. This is part of New York State contract. Is that New York State or New Jersey?
It is New York State.
Yeah.
That one.
Total for this purchase order is $14,902.80. Looks like 4,000.
4,000.
Is it 4,000?
It's 4,900.
Yeah, it's not.
The way they wrote the dollars.
Yeah, it's 4,000, not 14.
$4,902.80. That's a little better number.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DePaul. Second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is in regards to purchase order number 18742, Van Bortle Ford, 2019 Ford F-350XL for the Water Department. This is part of our bonding, equipment bonding for 2018. Total of this purchase order is $35,516.68.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DePaul.
Second.
Second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item has to do with an ongoing situation for Fox Hill Farms in regards to the fill on this particular property. I think it is the recommendation of town attorney and our town engineer that we are waiting for some clarification on something.
Yeah, there is the resolution for approval was still being drafted. The town attorney's office requested some additional time to make sure that we were, because this is also a court proceeding with a violation, we wanted to make sure that we were covering all our bases in this regard. So if I have a few minutes just to kind of give a quick overview, and then the request would be to table it to the next board meeting, and when that resolution is available for your to look at the final print and the stipulations under that resolution. Just wanted to kind of give you a quick. This has been about 4 or 5 years in the making, so I don't want to go over it too fast, but we will have an opportunity next board meeting to discuss this also. However, it's another situation where somebody says they have clean fill that comes in and has will do something for being allowed to deposit that clean fill on a site. So DEC does require, and basically the material is construction demolition material. DEC does require a certain portion. However, they don't tell you that if you exceed that portion, it becomes a problem on the site. So this proceeding's been going on for a while. There actually is 2 recommendations. The first recommendation, which came from unofficially from DEC, was to remove it from the site. but they did offer a second recommendation, which was to basically cap it and also to put a deed notice on the property to make sure any future owners would be aware that there's this material on the site. And the third was in lieu of well testing, was to sample the material to determine the probability of it seeping into like a groundwater or any lower stratosphere in the ground. That, based on recommendations from DEC, Solid Waste Division, and a environmental engineer was also hired, and I've used him in the past, so I'm familiar with his work. They all stress that there's not a probability of this material to leach into the lower substrate or the drinking water wells. So with that understanding, our recommendation was to move forward on capping this material, which would cover and prevent exposure to its human contact. The material isn't significantly hazardous. It's just it exceeds the residential portion that would be allowed to be unrestricted. So there is some residential restriction, but it's still allowable for residential use. And so the reason why it's been so long is because we haven't had an official comment from DEC until September, or sorry, I think it's November of this year. That's when they said, okay, they would accept the capping proposal. So it's our understanding that this is traditionally the standard that DEC allows. So our recommendation would be to proceed with the capping requirement with the deed restriction, and also with the understanding that that the future owners will understand that this material is on site. We did also recommend that the town board consider doing a hauling permit that would maybe prevent this and other cases from happening. You do see a lot of signs for free clean fill. Usually clean fill costs money, so just be careful. I mean, there's so many cases of schools that have had issues. Be very, very careful with someone trying to deposit some clean fill. So
that's probably a notice that we should probably get on our website, just to alert to homeowners, beware of clean fill. Make sure you follow the right procedure.
yeah, and the other thing we can do too, another idea is maybe in the manual that the highway department puts out every year, is maybe stress what the town requirements are for fill. What we require in our fill is only natural occurring items, so that people have that understanding, because it's there's a lot of questionable contractors that want to come out and put some clean fill on your property, and DEC says there's hundreds of sites that this has happened to. Farmers that are looking for a little extra cash, and now it's up to the property owners, and they, like I said, they face a lot of these cases. So this site is not the only one.
Thank you.
There was fill put in early in the 80s there, but this fill was put in around 2013.
Presentation before that. At this time, the town of Mount Pleasant code has a higher standard of what is permissible fill than the state allows. And so in this case, we worked with DEC to come up with a plan just to address this substandard fill. And in this case, the application that will be before you is just to consent that because they've taken these other remediation measures, that this fill can remain. It doesn't initially meet the town requirements. We're consenting to allow it to remain, provided that these other conditions are met. So we're just particular with the language and want to get it finalized. This has been an ongoing situation. We've been working, as Dave said, with DEC for a long time to get this. So, we wanted to just take a hard look at this. We've already drafted a resolution, but we wanted to make sure that everybody was on board, especially given that there is a town court proceeding that is moving forward. And we want to get everything on the same track before we finally bring it to the board. But we did want to present today so that you were aware of both the public figures as well.
Thank you.
DEC doesn't consider this a clean building. I mean,
Yes.
well, the town standard.
Yes, the town has a higher standard.
Has a higher standard.
But DEC has reviewed it, has done some, has been sampling taken the bill. And DEC is satisfied with what we
Meets
did.
their standard.
Yes, as long as there's a cap for them, which should give you 2 feet of proper fill.
Resolution 37818 will table this.
Motion to table?
Second.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is approval of an 18-month contract with Granicus. Granicus is a company that, in our effort to become more transparent, more organized, and more into the 20th century, this is software that helps us to record our agendas. Each department, instead of having this pile of paper every meeting, all the information will be sent electronically from all different departments to the supervisor's office for review, to be placed into an agenda. Will help us create minutes. Will automatically put information on the website. So it's a really good way for us to advance ourselves in becoming more transparent as everybody looks. The total for this contract, which is an 18-month contract, it will go from July until 12/31/2019. The total for the contract with there's a setup which is $6,300, then the contract amount is $27,857.14, with a total 18-month contract totaling $34,157.14. I don't know where 14 cents came from, but that's how it came out. This is something we've been researching a number of different companies. We found this company to be the best one for our purposes. So 37918 will approve the 18-month contract with Granicus.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Amiano.
Second.
Second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, recommendation from our controller's office is to renew the lease with our expiring postage machine, NeoPost. The monthly payment will be $378.51, which is less than our current lease of $390. So this resolution will approve extending the renewal lease for 60 months with NeoPost.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is call for a public hearing to amend Town Ordinance 206-52, time limit on Fort Washington and Hawthorne to 4 hours between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., and that except for Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. We have a date that'll work,
July 10th.
July 10th. Get a public hearing. Motion to schedule a public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is disposal of obsolete, non-repairable air conditioner, Town of Mount Pleasant inventory 00002581. It's a tough one.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Amiano, are you sure?
Second.
Second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sure that air conditioner will be missed. Next item is to call for a public hearing to amend Town Ordinance 20640, Schedule 4, stop intersections, Cedar Avenue and Mountain Road. You could also schedule that for July 10th.
Yes.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a block party request from Massimo Cardelli, September 8th, with a rain date September 15th, Willis Avenue, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Ramiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Another block party request. Evelyn Callahan, Saturday, September 15th, with a rain date September 16th, starting at 3 p.m.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Ramiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to hire Amanda Gisili as confidential secretary to the supervisor, the salary as per the 2018 budget, effective July 2nd, 2018.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is from our Water and Sewer Department, authorization to hire Brendan Scobola as a water and sewer maintenance worker, grade 2, in the Water and Sewer Department, salary as per 2018 budget and CSEA contract.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo.
That's blue
Second.
collar.
Blue collars, CSEA blue collar. Second by Mr. Ramiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At this point, business from the floor. Anybody who wishes to address any issues are welcome to do so at this time.
Since we have another hour to go, I bring a minor note here. My name is Dr. Schultz, Highfield Lane. It's good seeing you people. I appreciate your efforts. Believe me, some of the stuff I heard, I would not sit up there and pay me twice this hour. You know? And in any event, in honor of our august men in blue and the well-deserved honors that they've received here tonight, with that thought in mind and working with the board and perhaps the two of you together, have you ever discussed the town of Mount Pleasant as a sanctuary town? Hot issue. Any thought about, that's come up with you, any thoughts? White Plains is going that way. I'm not recommending it. I'm not, but.
Oh, so you're just wondering if we've given it thought, but you're not in favor of it. Is that, am I correct? Or you don't need to answer that.
No, I have very strong feelings about it on the other side of the fence, believe me. And I just wonder, because it is an issue that is taking over this entire state. And I'm the son of immigrant parents. And I know, just like most of you people, have that same story. And I know what they did when they came here, to take money not out of the pot, but put it in the pot. And this is the philosophy, as you well know, that's prevailing today. That's part of this whole thing, of this sanctuary thing. We need immigrants in this country. We need them, no question of it. But to just carte blanche bring them in without putting something in the pot, it's just not fair to anyone. And I just wonder if that discussion has come up, if there's any pressure on you, Mr. Fulgenzi and the board, you know, in that area.
No pressure has been put on us at this time to address it. I don't know what the county of Westchester is going to do. I do have my concerns with that.
Good concern.
But when the issue does come up, we will be addressing it properly.
Fine, I appreciate your candor on it. just as a side note on that information thing, you know, I've always felt that, been involved in professional areas and so forth, and that comes up all the time, you know. I always said to my people, when, you know, where's the information? Well, a deaf man knows nothing is happening, you know. You've got to pursue it. You've got to look, you know, here, there's all kinds of stuff out there that, there's so many issues. Look at it, hundreds of issues you go through here. Now, how much more can you feed people? You know, you can put it out, but they've got to actively pursue their interests. You come up here once a year, like, I'm not here all the time. I plead ignorance on that, you know, I do. I don't know a lot of things, but if there's something in there, I'm going to pursue that involves me and my family and so forth. And I do have faith in you as a board. I think there is a transparency effort, but it'll never be perfect.
No.
Never be perfect. There's no question. In today's world, we're lucky to have the machinery, you know, that can help us along that way. And that's why I have this and plus 3 granddaughters. Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it. It's a late night for pizza, guys.
We live in a world,
Thank you very much.
where we have to spoon feed information, and that's unfortunate.
It really is. Yeah. It is. There's so many issues in today's world. It's a very complicated world. If you have a concern about an issue, put your nose into that issue.
Yep.
It's your obligation to find that out. See, not you people. You lay it out, you know. But there's a, you know, 100 issues.
We do our best, and we will continue to improve. Constantly, we'll try to improve getting the information out to the public. There's nothing that we do not want to share with the public. It doesn't do us any good.
There's maybe a few skeletons. That's okay.
Thank you. I've always been taught that government's a two-way street, so I believe firmly in what you're saying, that, you know, you have to, the government has to provide it, and the citizens have to look for it, and I have to seek it out too. That's just my own personal thought, and I always appreciate public input. I do not want to make a decision about a mechanical leaf site if I don't live anywhere near a mechanical leaf site, so I always appreciate hearing from people, just the way I operate.
That's the way it should be. Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board? Being there are no further speakers, we'll move on to council reports. Unfortunately, Councilman Saliano, his mother passed away yesterday. So he was not able to be with us this evening, and we share our thoughts and prayers with him and his family on his loss. Bless you. On the controller's memo, I used to do this years ago, so let me see if I can remember how to do it. In the town clerk's department, we have General Code Publisher Corporation. This is for E-Code, $1,195. Hudson Printing and Graphics, $1,520.45. Spectre Associates, those are office supplies, $688.50 for a total for the town clerk of $3,403.95. General election, Westchester County Department of Finance, so annual election fees, $45,613. Building Town Hall, we have alarm specialist, $570. EDP Supply Solutions, $127.81. You got paper supplies and towels and foam wash, $540.76. FRM Mechanical, this is for repairs, $1,680.40. And then a replacement of a vacuum breaker in the police department, $246.50. Lockhouse for the clerk's office, judge's bathroom, PD rear room, repair door, and the total for all that is $7,047. $7,047. Thank you. Information.
We miss Tom.
Yes. Information services, Pleasantville Community Television, video development, $800. Licenses and permits, MacCode, Profula, base permit overpayment, $1,000. Safety inspection for certified elevators, $3,125. Senior citizenships, Valley Railroad Company, $2,197.80. General repairs, you got blacktop, $2,123.47. 28.85 tons, 2,286.08, and Palumbo Block, 1,932.48, for a total of 6,342.03. Highway General Capital Projects, Peter Landy, Marble Avenue, Chelsea Street, $71,318.53. Capital Pool Complex, Peter Landy, sidewalk, $3,680.75. Kensico Capital Projects, professional consulting, $1,365. Valhalla Refuse District, Moorback, these are top parts for our tub grinder, hammers and tips, $303.58, and tips for the tub grinder, $262.01. Ramos and B Service and Landscaping, May 18th, tree work, $1,425. Total $1,990.59. Mount Pleasant Refuse, Moorback LLC. These are more parts for the tub grinder, hammers and tips, and also Ramos and V additional tree work. Total for that group, $7,962.34. Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, Jasper Engine and Transmission. We have a credit memo of $328. We have a transmission of $1,106. And we have Ross Valve Manufacturing Biennial Maintenance, $7,635.68, for a total $8,413.68. Joint Water District Fund, Pitney Bowes, Sealer Stuffer, $2,145. Jasper Engine and Transmission, credit memo, $492. Transmission, $1,659. Ross Valve, again, biennial maintenance is $848.40, for a total of $4,160.40. Mechanical Water District number 1, professional consulting, total $1,307.50. Kensico Water, professional consulting, $2,615. Terracon Corporation, chlorine tank repair, $4,900, for a total of $7,515. Trusted agency, we have quite a few of them, total of $5,750, for a grand total of $182,956.04. So to approve the controller's memo, 389.18. Motion by Mr. Amiano, second by Mr. DiPaolo.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to Mr. Amiano, complete his list.
Not quite as celebratory, but here we go. So,
Actually, we forgot the town clerk.
Oh, I'm sorry. How could I forget?
It's not on there.
It's not on there, that's right. We have the report, but we didn't,
on the agenda.
we didn't put her name on here. So we'll go to the town clerk's agenda.
Okay, public hearing. Assisted living facility special permit. Enter into a lease agreement for installation of wireless communication structure at Mechanical River Road and local law number 4, 2018, creating chapter 167 to establish a sustainable energy loan program in the town of Mount Pleasant. Received Mount Pleasant Library Board minutes from May 17, 2018. Received Mount Pleasant Recreation and Parks Commission minutes for January 22nd, March 5th, April 2nd, and May 7th, 2018. Zoning Board agenda, July 12th, 2018. Received from the town of Greenberg, notice of public hearing, reference, amend Town Code Section 285-27, LOB, Limited Office Building District. Received from the town of Greenberg, notice of public hearing, reference, amend Town Code Section 285-25, OB, Office Building District, and one notice of claim, Haley and Brianna Celentano versus the town of Mount Pleasant et al.
Item F will be referred to our town attorney.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Amiano.
Okay, so we have a request here from Chief Oliva to attend the New York State Chiefs of Police Convention, which takes place from July 15 to 18. The conference offers training on relevant topics regarding upcoming law changes and management. The cost for lodging and registration is $807. Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we have a request for less lethal training for Officers Chris Franco and Jeff Kozleski. This is sending 2 firearms officers to a course being offered by the manufacturer, FN. This company built the less lethal compressed air weapons that we have deployed in our police cars. Sergeant Franco and Sergeant Kozleski have been selected. Total cost for tuition is $500, and the course is being offered locally. Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next is purchase order number 18689 with Major Police Supply. This has to deal with computer mount with keyboard bracket and passenger side seat post kits. This includes shipping. Total amount is $579. Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Last here for tonight is purchase order number 18695 with Sullivan Data, 3-year standard renewal license for PD desktop computers, 30 of them, unit price of $27.66 for a grand total of $829.80. Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Amiano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Smalley is still on the mend. We're hoping she'll be up and around soon. Helping us out this evening will be our dependable Councilman DiPaolo.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening to the public. On behalf of the Recreation Department, there are 10 items on the agenda this evening. The first is memo number 42, in that the Recreation Department is requesting the approval of 7 camp counselors with varying hourly rates between $6 and $10.50 per hour. It's for the day camp staff for the 2018 season, effective June 19th, 2018. And all of the specific information regarding names and specific hourly rates is on file in the Recreation Office. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second item is memo number 44, in which the Recreation Department is requesting approval of the following programs. It's early morning fitness. The instructor is Scott Dooley, and the cost would be $75 to the instructor if under 15 students, and $100 if over 15 students. Or I should say, 15 students or more, and that's effective April 2018, April 17th, 2018.
And that program fee, I guess, is $150
Per
applicant.
Yep.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The third item is memo number 44A, in which the Recreation Department is requesting approval of the following seasonal employees at the pool. There's various lifeguards, swim coaches, gate guards. The rates per hour and names are on file. They are varying between $15.50 per hour and $9.25 per hour. I'm sorry, $8.50 per hour. Again, that's all on file in the Recreation Department. I would move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is memo number 45. Recreation Department requesting approval of 19 seasonal sports camp employees effective June 19th, 2018. The salaries range from $10.50 per hour to $15.50 per hour. The supervisor's salary is $600 per week. Again, this is for our sports camp here in town. Again, the specific names and salary rates will be on file in the Recreation Department. I move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is memo number 46. Recreation and Parks Department is requesting permission to dispose of couches and chairs that were purchased in 1998 from the recreation room at the community center. The furniture is no longer used in this room, but it is taking up some valuable space they would like to free up. So I'd move to dispose of those furniture items.
We have we missed on mine, we missed some numbers.
Okay.
So why don't we go 401A?
A.
I'm getting better at this, the agendas.
And then we're going to do 401B.
Yeah. Yes. 401A, motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The sixth item on the agenda is memo number 48, and the Recreation Department is requesting the approval of the use of the Valhalla United Methodist Church for one of their day camps that would take place between June 25th and August 3rd of this year. The cost for that time frame for the summer would be $15,000. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And that's motion number 402, yes.
No, 401B.
401B.
I think it's 402 because item number 6 is a two line.
You're correct.
You're right.
Okay.
I just wanted to say.
Next item is memo number 49, and that's the Recreation Department is requesting the approval of the following school bus services for their day camp trips. July 10th, Grand Prix, 6 buses at $487.50. July 11th, Mohegan Lake Movies, 6 buses at $487.50 per bus. July 12th, Mohegan Lake Movies, 2 buses at $487.50 per bus. July 17th, Mohegan Lake Movies, 6 buses at $487.50 per bus. July 19th, Grand Prix, 2 buses at $487.50 per bus. July 25th, Grand Prix, 6 buses at $487.50 per bus. And then also between the period of June 26th and August 3rd, we would be using the buses as shuttles for our campers to go back and forth between their campsites and the town pool. That would be 28 days of busing, 2 buses, $487.50 per bus per day. All of this is covered under the cost of the campers. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8 is memo number 50, and the Recreation Department is requesting approval of the following school bus services. Various different buses on dates ranging from July 3rd to July 26th for various different trips: Lake Compounce, Intrepid, Roller Magic, Playland, Bronx Zoo, Splashdown, Medieval Times, Broadway, and Lake Compounce. Again, the bus rates vary from $475 per bus all the way up to $650 per bus. Again, all included in the camper's fees. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 9, which is memo number 51, the Recreation Department is requesting approval of coach bus services for the following day camp trips: July 3rd, Lake Compounce, July 19th, Splish Splash, and July 30th, Hurricane Harbor. Buses varying amounts at $900 per bus, all the way up to $1,100 per bus. Again, these fees or these costs are covered in the camper's fees. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the last item is memo number 52, in which the Recreation Department is requesting approval of Service Tours coach bus services for various day camp trips throughout the summer between July 5th and August 1st. Various different destinations: Dorney Park, Camelback, Roller Magic, Mohegan Lake, Hershey Park. The amounts for the bus services range between $720 and $2,200 depending on the destination. Again, the cost is absorbed into the camper's fees. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Councilman DiPaolo.
Oh, I'm up again. All right. On behalf of the Highway Department, there are 5 items on the agenda this evening. The first is authorization to refund $3,000 for a street opening permit number 6376 that was issued to LDA Construction Group. That was for work that was performed at 20A Orchard Street in Thornwood. The work has been restored to the satisfaction of the highway superintendent. Therefore, I move to issue that money back to LDA Construction Group.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2 is seeking authorization to amend Resolution 362-18 to release $200 to Miller Silver LLC, not $510 as previously stated. So again, the resolution tonight is to amend Resolution 362-18 to reflect a refund of $200, not $510, and that was for work performed at 44 Prospect Avenue in Valhalla. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 3 is seeking authorization to release $501 to LDA Construction Group for their curb cut permit 1443. And again, that was work performed at 20A Orchard Street in Thornwood. That work was performed and restored to the satisfaction of the highway superintendent. Therefore, I move to release that amount to LDA Construction Group.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4 is seeking authorization to accept $70 for curb cut permit number 1459 from Annalisa and Daniel Nazaruk, and that's for work completed at 31 Greenwood Lane in Valhalla. That amount will be refunded upon satisfactory restoration of the curb. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the last item on the agenda for the Highway Department is seeking authorization to amend Resolution 284-18 to add Loza Drive to the PO. That would change the amount of the PO from $65,223.91 to $74,024. Again, there was road work on Resolution 284-18. This resolution is to amend that initial scope of road work to include Loza Drive. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is Town Attorney's report in regards to tax surcharge.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. Christopher Feldman from the law firm of Harris Beach, PLLC. What we have before the board is seeking approval of the settlement of one tax certiorari matter over numerous years that applies to actually 5 different parcels within the town, really more 4 different addresses. One of the parcels, one of the properties has 2 different section block and lots associated with it. The addresses are 100, 200, 500 Summit Lake Drive, as well as 115 through 117 Stevens Avenue. These are the properties just to the north of Town Hall, and they're owned by the Rexon Corporation. We've been working with the town assessor's office to come to a settlement. In this case, the town did engage an outside appraiser to conduct his own independent review of what the valuation of the property should be, which we consulted in negotiating this. I'm just going to give you the refund amounts. They are a little large, but they will be paid out over a 5-year period. So that does give some relief to the town. 100 Summit, the refund amount will be $525,000, again paid out over 5 years. 200 Summit will be $629,000. 500 Summit will be $562,000. Again, these are estimates, and we understand that when we actually run the numbers, the actual refunds will be lower than these amounts. And then the final one is 115, 117 Stevens Avenue, where the total refunds are $460,000. Again, all refunds will be paid out over 5 years.
Thank you.
If you have any further questions.
So we know that this is something that you've been working on for quite a while. I guess Rexon has been working with us, trying to come up with a reasonable solution for both sides.
Yes, we have been negotiating and they have been open to, again, as I said, a 5-year payout, which is not terribly uncommon, but usually the payouts are not as long. So 5 years is one of the longer payouts I've seen in many years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to settle this tax surcharge.
Move to settle it, just say that this is, one of the more difficult things for a town to digest. Never an easy thing, but I do thank you for the, negotiating and working this out with Rexon, to what, although it doesn't seem like very favorable, is more favorable than it could have been. So thank you.
You're welcome. And it's also worth mentioning that we did work and coordinate closely with the school district on this as well, because obviously they will be paying much more in terms of a refund than we will.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Our scheduled meetings, due to our work session, normally would be on July 3rd. We are rescheduling the work session to Monday, July 2nd at 7 p.m. Due to the holiday, and we will need a resolution to make that change.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Amiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our business session will be on Tuesday, July 10th at 8 p.m. Just a reminder, July 4th celebration at the town pool. It's always a nice event for the town residents to join us. The Thorn Lions Club, again, will be cooking hot dogs. So what time will we start up there? At 11?
It's 11.
11 o'clock. There will also be a flag raising ceremony also by the local American Legion. Being there no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Amiano, second by Mr. DiPaolo. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.